Thank you, Aidan Farrell, our spectacular musical guest this morning. And good morning, everyone. I am Reverend Helen Vallot. Welcome to our Sunday celebration of love. Love only, forgive everything, coming back to remembering who we are, and happy Easter. Happy Easter to, this is an opportunity for renewal of our mind, for rising up into a higher consciousness of love. And so with that, I'm going to take it back to Aidan to start us off with our opening song. So take it away, Aidan.
Helen, this song is called Garden. And when I think of this weekend, I think of renewal and resurrection and what that energy is for me. And this song I wrote really in that energy. So the song is called Garden. Days always seem to pass me by while I'm trying to hold the hands of time for a deeper trust. I long to try, but I'm locked out from the inside. So peace I pray. My heart, it always seems to ache while on the past I ruminate. For a deeper love I long to taste. Seems I'm sleeping even when I wake, but my soul, it burns for the truth it yearns. Help me relearn, help me return. Take me back to the garden before I felt so afraid. Oh, show me the meaning of freedom. For this peace I pray. For this peace I pray. To get under my skin and find the valley within where I can water my flowers, reclaim my power, have my mind made over, get this weight off my shoulders, see my true reflection, my soul's resurrection. I am one with the garden, no longer feel so afraid. No, I know the meaning of freedom, and in this garden I stay. I am one with the garden, no longer feel so afraid. No, I know the meaning of freedom, and in this garden I'll stay. And in this garden I'll stay. And in this garden I'll stay.
That was beautiful, Aiden. And you know what came to me in this with this beautiful metaphysical song that you are so brilliant at composing is imagine a choir singing that song. We got to get going on that choir. Fran, take note. I know you're listening. Oh, so spectacular. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Oh, I am going to start off with our invocation this morning as I light the candle representing the light of the universe, the light within each and every one of us. And yes, I am the light. You are the light. We are the light. I am soul, I am love, I am kindness, I am goodness, I am beauty, I am wisdom, I am justice, I am truth, I am wholeness. I am all that I am. And affirming this, I rise in my own mind to recognize I am part of an infinite whole, the divine nature of life itself. I choose my heart as a source of my inspiration. Yes, I open the doorway of my heart and I enter into the past, the present, and the future simultaneously, honoring all that has come before us, our ancestors, our new thought teachers, our mystical teachers, our families. I honor life in this very moment, seeing the light within each and every one of us, seeing the light in all beings. And I recognize the constant renewal of my mind is the key to joyous living. And I say yes to joyous living. And it is done, and so it is. And with that, Aidan, I'm actually going to invite you to take us into our invocation song. And so let us all take a breath in, breathing into our heart space, opening our hearts and our minds to all the possibilities of life. And so take it away, Aidan.
I am not the things my family did. I am not the voices in my head. I am not the pieces of the brokenness inside. I am light. I am light. I am light, I am light. I am light, I am light. I am light, I am light. I am not mistakes that I have made, or any other things that cause me pain. I am not the pieces of the dreams I left behind. I am light. 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 You are light. You are light.
Beautiful, Aidan, and perfect invocation song. Thank you. I'm going to invite our delightful, wonderful, exuberant Reverend Fred Ouimet to start us off with an opening treatment and then move into our banter back and forth. So welcome, Reverend Fred.
Thank you, Reverend Helen, and welcome everyone on this amazing Easter morning. this amazing Easter morning. I invite everybody to just, wherever you are, just take a deep breath and become fully present right here, right now. I recognize that there is one thing going on, and that is love, light, peace. And we call it divine, and it is divine. And as I sit knowing that this divinity is all that there is, there's one thing going on, and it doesn't matter the name we give it, it only matters the expression, the feeling. Because as I recognize my connection to this oneness, to this light, to this divine source, to this God, I recognize that all that it desires is to be expressed. And it is through that creative expression, that loving, peaceful, kind, joyous thing that we call Easter. We give it a name, but it is just the resurrection. It is just a renewal of everything. And that is what the divine is wanting to be expressed through each and every one of us. And I recognize that right here, right now, in this moment, as we come together, that this is the love, this is the light, and that is what is desired to be expressed. We come together as a community right here, right now, knowing that the energy that flows through me is life, is love, is joy. And just like nature, everything is in divine order. Everything is growing and budding and being ready to be expressed right here, right now. And that as my mind becomes clear that all things from source, all things from that higher self are divinely intuited, so too is everything that shows up in my experience. I'm so grateful for these teachings that allows me to know and to understand this philosophy. I'm so grateful for this opportunity to express this through this divine medium that we call Zoom or YouTube or any other name that we give that divine source where the information is just shared. I'm grateful for all of it right here, right now. And as I know the power of words and understand the power of thought and understand that all the universe wants to do is to do, I release my word knowing that it is done and recognizing the power of that word. Together we say, and so it is.
And so it is. Thank you. Thank you so much. And I am curious to know, Reverend Fred, as I experience you as always in this place of renewal and what's more and what else can I express? How is that unfolding for you in your life these days?
Well, when I think about renewal, for me, it's more about letting go. And so it's letting go. So what do I need to let go of that allows me to have that new thought, that new experience? And, so the process of letting go can sometimes be daunting. First of all, because you have to recognize that you need to let go of something. And you may not even know that there's something that you need to let go of until it, knocks on the door and continues to knock on the door. And then you have that awakening that, oh my gosh, this is, hello, old friend. Didn't think I was enough. Where did that come from? Oh yes, well, hello, old friend. And then renewal to me is letting go, and then having faith. Having faith that the highest good, the higher good, my highest good, is going to, be the result. And I've come to understand that letting go and my highest good also affects everybody in your life as well. So suddenly your experiences, all of these coincidences or things start to show up, or other people are suddenly speaking things and you're thinking, it's never about changing someone's mind or changing someone else. It's about changing, about allowing that process, letting go, having faith, and then allowing the renewed thoughts into expression. And then it starts to happen everywhere around you. in family, and that's how families are healed. That's how you go through different, it's beautiful.
It is beautiful. And that one thought, as it's so interesting how you notice how it affects everyone else. It's because you've put it out there. It's like when someone says to you, "Oh, I got a blue car," and then you start noticing blue cars everywhere. It's that energy that just starts to appear because it is in our consciousness. And so it shows up in other places. And this is how powerful we are.
Absolutely. And that's what the law of attraction is really, isn't it? It's looking at something differently, looking at something in a new way. And I think, take a look at your life. I think about my life 5 years ago. And I remember 5 years ago thinking, wow, this is pretty much it. Like I'm a practitioner, I'm at the center, I'm running the magazines, right? 5 years later, it's like minister, now publisher of 4 magazines instead of 3. People talk about magazines shutting down. It's like, no, there is so much creative expression to still exist. And so if in 5 years life can change that much, it's changing anyway. This is where I go with it too, right? It's changing anyway. So why not be able to take a look at those changes and really live in them and embrace them and allow you and not hold on to, but release the need to hold on to exactly how the outcome is, yes. But know that there's an outcome and then direct those thoughts, direct that. And I do it every single morning, to be honest with you. For me, renewal is practice. It doesn't take Easter for me to do it, although there's a grander scale that takes place. I did a big overhaul yesterday of how I'm conducting things and what's important, and did like lists and then different files and for everything that needs to get done. That's what Easter is for me. It's like the grand, house cleaning, right? The grand
spring cleaning.
Yes, every single morning I wake up, and there's some mornings. Listen, there's some mornings that I wake up and it's not pretty. I have monkey mind, or I have the non-creative mind going, "What did you do? What are you doing? You're crazy!" Or thoughts of things that are going on, and it takes me to sit down and go, "But hold on a second. How is that thought serving you?" Because we know in this philosophy, as you think, you create. So is that something that I want to carry throughout the day? No. And that's where my spiritual practice comes in as early as I can. I light my little candle and I do my readings, and then I meditate. And if I'm really stuck, I have people that I can call and say, "Okay, you know what? This is like still noodling up there. So I need to get this straightened out," right? Yeah, so that's what it is. And I love spring because my trees, my ginkgo biloba tree, there's an example. In the fall, it had to let go of all of its leaves so that now it can be budding into something new. And we're the same.
Yes. Beautiful, Fred. Thank you. Would you like to lead us in our affirmation? And I'll actually bring it up on the screen for us to all know and see here.
So I'll say the affirmation once, and then I invite everyone to say it with me. So everything I desire in my life is within me. And if we can say that together, everything I desire in my life is within me. Namaste.
Beautiful. And so it is. And so it is. So, Aiden, I'm going to have you take us into our feature song this morning.
Okay. So lately, whenever I am here with Welcome Home, I've been leaning on Spirit a little bit more to tell me what songs to do. And I've just been trying this thing where I go, what needs to be heard, what would be received by this beautiful community, instead of trying to logic my way through it. And this song popped into my mind, and it's Nature Boy. And it's so hauntingly beautiful. And the main lyric is, "The greatest thing you'll ever learn is just to love and be loved in return."
Oh,
Right.
You know, okay, take it away. Thank you.
Here we go. There was a boy, a very strange, enchanted boy. They said he wandered very far, over land and sea. A little shy and sad of eye, but very wise was he. And then one day he came my way, and we spoke of many things, fools and kings. This he said to me: the greatest thing you ever learn is just to love and be loved in And then one day he came my way, and we spoke of many things, fools and kings. And this he said to me: greatest thing you ever learn is just to love and be loved in
Thank you, Aiden. Oh, you know, it brings up, and I don't know why your song is bringing this up for me, except that, well, that is what Jesus taught. So part of Easter is to understand that part of us that is infinite love, and we're always connected to Source. But I'm going to say, last week after service, I felt so sad that we are not all together in a room. It's great to feel the energy on Zoom and using technology, and I'm very, very grateful for it. Don't get me wrong. But there is something about us being together energetically, and I could see myself hugging everybody and being so moved by the energy of the music, which is so much a part of our service. And I went, oh my gosh, how long is this going to last? And I really felt such a deep, deep sadness that we're not all together. And then I had to rise above that, move through it, rise up in my consciousness, understand that everything is unfolding perfectly, really allow myself to feel the sadness, not candy coat it, but also recognize that whatever is happening at this point is for that pointed forward direction of the evolution of us all. And surrender into it. And, that's a little bit about what Easter is about, is rising again in our minds. And my talk title is Rise and Rise Again. And I'm actually going to give a metaphysical meaning of what Easter is about. And I don't normally talk about Jesus and the cross and what it all means, but I just feel that in honoring, last month we honored all of our metaphysical teachers in the ritual, honoring Jesus, the man, as a metaphysical teacher, that's what he taught was the greatest thing of all is to love and be loved, to know that we're that infinite love. And, Easter really is about the awakening, the rising to a spiritual consciousness of I am in the being. I am in my flesh and bone. I am in the being of my beautiful spirit flowing forth with every breath I take. And that has been buried in the tomb of the material world, the world of form, for so many of us. It's part of our Newtonian physics. Everything's in form. And I was like, no, it isn't. What came first is consciousness. And to awaken to the consciousness of, who we truly are as these infinite creative beings, that we all came from I'm seeing the heart these days, or the Big Bang, as a huge cosmic heart that went bang, and we all are part of that cosmic heart. And so the symbolic nature of Easter is the process of the dying of the old self and the old beliefs and being reborn in a spiritual sense. So, and I have to wipe my nose because I was crying that much. My goodness. I don't have Kleenex with me right now, so I will be using my hand. I apologize. Not great to watch. So, Easter can be such a powerful metaphor, helping us to examine our current state of being, and then for each one of us to decide, how do I want to evolve in consciousness here? And that's sometimes similar to how we perceive New Year's, right? New beginning, new goals, a freshness, starting new, and letting go of whatever it is we need to let go of, like Reverend Fred was talking about. So each one of us gets to decide this for ourselves, what's working in your life and what needs to change. So my question to you is, what old story or mantra or belief system can you let go of that is keeping you locked in an old yet emotionally familiar belief system of limitation? And when Jesus was on the cross, he spoke words that have been mistranslated, either accidentally or intentionally, but mistranslated nevertheless. And the continued use of that errant translation perpetuates this myth of our unworthiness, our separation, and implies that God, universal presence, whatever you want to call it, the infinite universal consciousness that underwrites all that is somehow a separate cosmic energy and entity from us. Now, in this group, we know differently, for sure, or we are opening up to understanding that there is nothing outside of us. It's not about the material world, the form, that everything is consciousness and that we are the God consciousness. We are the entire universe, and the universe is us. The truth is, yes, there is no separation. But a consciousness of separation has been translated by this, or perpetuated by this mistranslation. So here is the mistranslation that needs to be corrected, or could be corrected, or we can choose to correct it. He said, Eli, Eli, ama sabachthani. Translated as, my God, why hast thou forsaken me? And this translation intentionally puts distance between us and a God out there, that it tries to conceal who we really are. And we have thousands of years of imprinting of this translation, that God is out there judging us, condemning us, and we are bad or wrong or unworthy, and we need to prove our worthiness. So this is not the message that Christ, as Jesus, spoke from the cross. A highly conscious being would never, ever have said those words. And why? Because he became so consciously, acutely aware and embodied in his own innate divinity and the divinity of everyone he met. And he fully actualized his own divine nature in the time he spent on this planet. So he would not have ever questioned his indivisible oneness with the eternal presence. That is not what Jesus taught, but that has been what has been interpreted. By nature, we are the human expressions of the presence of the God, universe, infinite creative presence, whatever you want to call it, in our mind and in our body. We are this beautiful human expression of the entire universe. If there's any disconnect, it's caused by our lack of awareness of our divine status. Our consciousness is the eternal presence, always, always expressing itself. We just might not see it, or might not want to see it. So, the truth is, the words that Christ, as Jesus, spoke in the original Aramaic were from the cross were this: Eli, Eli, amana sabachthani. And the translation of that is, my God, it is for this purpose I have come. It is for this purpose that I have come, and it is also our purpose, everyone's purpose. We are here to recognize, develop, actualize our innate presence of our own light of consciousness, this consciousness of oneness. This is what we are here to do as these beautiful divine beings, to stand and know, live from, and express love only. Forgive everything. Remember who we are. So yesterday, I was a guest on a podcast called Who Do You Think You Are? It is by, and some of you know her, Lassia Cahoot, and her husband, Glenn Sheridan. They are hosting this podcast, and they're interviewing, there's a number of people that they have interviewed, and are now, their podcasts are on Spotify and iTunes, and you can find it anywhere you like. And I will post the podcast with that I was a guest on. So it was interesting because Glenn asked the question, is it reasonable to be in love only? He said, I'm not quite sure I buy into that. I can have faith, I can have trust, but I don't know about this love only. So we had a whole conversation about, first of all, what is love? And, we define it in religious science as the self-givingness of spirit unto itself. And I also talked about that emotional goodness and kindness that we fill up with and give to ourselves first so that it's overflowing like a teacup. We've filled up the teacup and it overflows into the saucer, and we can give whatever's in the saucer unconditionally, never at the expense of ourselves. But I also said, I started off with this poem by Miller Williams. Have compassion for everyone you meet, even if they don't want it. For what appears to be conceit, arrogance, and ill manners are signs of things no eyes have seen, no ears have heard. We do not know what wars are going on down where spirit meets the bone. And so I don't have to love somebody's destructive patterns. I don't have to love those. My job as love only, my commitment as loving only, is to see beyond the patterns to the truth of who the person is. And that I love only. And then I can forgive. And I can come back to remembering that I too am that love. So it was a very interesting conversation because it was about seeing the person beyond the patterned personality to who they truly are. And we all want to be seen. We all want to be seen. And to see the divine in everyone you meet. You don't have to love somebody's destructive patterns. Nobody does. You don't want to buy into those. You want to go, no, that's not who you are. I see beyond that to that beautiful, beautiful, infinite light that you truly are. So we each have the power to live lives that are filled with health and wealth and happiness, beauty, abundance. We can create the life we want because it is all from that eternal source of the creative infinite power that we are. And we can make this planet a safer, happier, healthier place for everyone. Our work is to fulfill our divine purpose, to become conscious and faithfully one with our own innate divinity, just as Jesus did. And then we can come to an understanding that Jesus was a man who did become consciously aware of his true nature over 2,000 years ago. And he's a representation of what is possible, of that beautiful quality within each and every one of us. So he's our way shower. He is one of our mystics that's a way shower that shows us we can do the same thing. We all have that capacity. So when we think of Christ, it's the life principle of the entire universe in physicality. It is the I amness manifested. It is as the indwelling Christ in each and every one of us. And then when we come to understand the cross, and it's interesting because I look out, like from where I'm sitting, in the background is a beautiful, beautiful steeple with a cross on it. And the cross reveals who God is, not what God did, as an action separate from God's nature. It represents that we are created in this loving union with God, or the universal presence, the infinite creative energy and light, whatever you want to call it. And the cross bar is the I am. I am the blood, the bones, the guts of, and everything that is contained in the universe. I am. The vertical bar represents spirit's descent into matter, into form. So God is, I am. There's no separation. But you know, from a dogmatic perspective, the cross is a gruesome religious symbol of what retails guilt and sin and shame and suffering and condemnation. But from the spiritual perspective, the cross is metaphysically lifting up the Easter story to its highest spiritual octave, because the crucifixion represents the crossing out of error from our consciousness. So it's a whole new way to look at the cross, the crossing out of error from our consciousness. And so every time we release, we let go, we move beyond the limitations that we place upon ourselves, we rise again in consciousness. So something else that Lassia brought up in the podcast is, you know, there's this belief principle is not bound by precedent, which she said completely changed her life. That idea that she is not bound by her history. She said, so why is it that we still drag our history into the present day? And does that principle, not bound by precedent, hold true? And I said, yes, it does. I said, the operative word is bound. Principle is not bound by precedent, but we tend to bind ourselves to the history and define ourselves by it. And I said, in order to release the binding, we need to, open up our minds to who we truly are and really start to embody that. But we also need to go through and do our mental, emotional work of moving through the history and finding such deep compassion and forgiveness for it. So that not only are we freeing ourselves, but we're also freeing our ancestors. And that's how, you know, in the quantum realm, you go back and change history by freeing, coming to that deep place of compassion and forgiveness, not just in our heads, in our hearts, so that our ancestors aren't bound by the history, and we're not bound by the history, and the future is not bound by the history, that we release it and we create our lives from that beautiful embodiment of our oneness, which is the central message of Easter, is that we can achieve the same unity with our own consciousness when we have that consciousness of oneness. And so for Jesus, the mortal body was transformed into an immortal body before the crucifixion. And at the crucifixion, he proved that the human body can triumph over what we call physical death, which is the transition from our flesh to the ethereal spiritual body that we all embody, the ethereal body that we all embody. And he proved that our physical bodies are an expression of this etheric, spiritual body. So that's the message of Easter. Although I am going to say, and I'm going to call you out on this, Judy, when you were talking about the meme around that you saw where the rock was moved and out came the Easter bunny, And for so many of us, Easter is about bunnies and chocolate. So I think of that, and out comes the Easter bunny. But those Easter bunnies are really good at renewal. They create very prolifically, and so there can be a lot of new little bunnies running around. But also, it is the story of our divine birthright. That's really what Easter is about. It's the mastery over our human belief in limitation. And so, I invite you today, roll away the stone of any thought of your own insignificance. Roll away the stone of any perceived limitations. Roll away the stone of the belief in the necessity of illness. Roll away the stone which says you'll never find your soulmate, for those of you looking for a relationship. And roll away the stone that says you're not good enough or smart enough or talented enough or worthy enough. Roll those stones away. You never know. You might find a big, beautiful Easter bunny waiting to give you a hug. And I will say also that every year I have always bought Easter bunnies and little eggs for my daughter. And I thought this year I was looking for vegan chocolate and couldn't find any. I thought, oh, well, she's 27. She doesn't, she's not going to think about it or she won't miss it. Well, the first thing she did when she came out of her room this morning is like, where's my chocolate bunny? And I had to laugh. And then my neighbors, my beautiful, beautiful neighbors that I absolutely adore, were delivering Easter bunnies to many of the people in our building. And we were a recipient of a big Easter bunny package. So, thank God I was saved by my neighbors this morning. And so she's very, very happy. But it's like, hey, where can we go and have fun today? I want you to think about it, just to let your light shine so brightly, to know that renewal is constantly happening within us, to be acutely conscious of your consciousness. Roll away those stones and let every step today, everything you do, everything you think about, be a step towards your health, your wholeness, your happiness, your abundance, and your alignment with your extraordinary consciousness that is the truth of who you are. And so it is for this purpose that you are here now, to live a life that leaves you breathless as a result of tapping into the wholeness and the beauty that you are. And so thank you. Happy, happy Easter, renewing yourself into this beautiful, brilliant expression that you are. Thank you. And I am going to bring up our PowerPoint for our divine giving affirmation and our mission statement. Our mission statement is supporting people in exploring their spiritual intelligence, using new thought principles and philosophy to transform their lives. We do this through classes, meditation, prayer, music, community events. Oh man, next community event, be there or be square. I'll talk about which one it is, but we need these community events to come together. And of course, our Sunday celebration of love. And our vision statement is love only. Forgive everything. Remember who you are. And so our divine giving affirmation is divine love flows through me. It blesses and multiplies all that I have, all I give, and all I receive. I am richly blessed, creating a greater and greater flow of abundance. And so it is. And you can send your donation to info@welcomeomtoronto.com. You can send an e-transfer that way, or you can go onto our website And this month, our 10% of our tithe, what we receive, is going to Forests Ontario, which I thought, oh, Fred's giving me a thumbs up in that. Yes, because I thought spring, renewal, our forests are so precious to us, and they do a really great job of creating community outreach and planting millions of trees each year. So that is where our tithe is going this month. So thank you. And here's the other thing I'm going to say about our tithing, because we can get very scared. Oh, but I don't have that much to give. Ooh, I better hang on just in case. You know, all those limiting beliefs, instead of understanding the source and substance of our supply, is that infinite, abundant presence of life itself within us. And the more that we open up, the more that we give, the more we receive. And so I invite you to step out of your comfort zone a little bit this month and maybe give a little bit more than what you are used to giving, and just see what happens. See what happens for you. And so our community event, woohoo, Mad Hatter Bingo, which is coming up in a couple of Sundays from 7 to 9 p.m. It will be hosted by Reverend Fred Wimet and myself, and it is on Zoom. We have a great system for doing bingo. It was so much fun last time, so please also let your friends and your family know. We're going to do cash prizes this time, and there will be a special prize for the best hat. And tickets for that are available online at welcomeometoronto.com. And then our Spirit Breath meditation continues Monday and Friday at 8 a.m. and noon. You're always welcome to join in. They're still free for, I think, about the next 2 weeks, and then we're moving into a subscription series. And I want to say, Aiden, oh, bless you. I love you. Thank you. Thank you for your consciousness, your beautiful voice, your beautiful music, and I can't wait to hear you again live in person. Thank you so much for your beautiful inspirational music today. Reverend Fred, I love you. Thank you for bringing your consciousness here with us today. And thank you, Welcome Home community. I do so, oh, I'm going to cry. I do so miss seeing you in person. Oh, maybe more than I was even giving myself credit for. And I know that that will unfold perfectly at the perfect time, but just, oh, also now I hold you all in my heart. I think of you. If you need anything, please, please reach out to me. I'm happy to support you. Okay, and with that, I am going to invite Aiden to take us into our final song of the morning. Thank you.
Thank you. This song is called Begin Again. Sing along, as always, if you know it. Breathe in, breathe out, let it go, and begin again. Breathe in, breathe out, let it go, and begin again. Make your mistakes and you try to erase, but can you really hide what you hid? How could you know what you know if you didn't do what you did. So breathe in, breathe out, let it go, and begin again. Breathe in, breathe out, let it go, and begin again. When life gets too heavy, dark and cold, just feel the air in your lungs, the blood in your veins. That's the only truth you need to know. So breathe in, breathe out, let it go, and begin again. Breathe in, breathe out, let it go, and begin again. Here's to life on planet Earth today. Here's to this chance you have to live another way. It's okay to breathe in, breathe out, let it go, and just feel it all. Breathe in, breathe out, let it go, and begin
Mm. Begin again in each and every moment with every breath. Thank you, Aiden. Thank you, all of you. Happy Easter. And yes, because we started earlier, and get out and enjoy this beautiful, beautiful day. Much love and many, many blessings to you. Namaste.